Hey, thanks for watching here. So, I'm going to be today talking a little bit about puzzles and triggers. Something I've been learning more about. Just wanted to show you guys a very simple example of what I've cooked up and some of the fun that I've had expanding from just the basics itself. So again, we're talking about puzzles here. Involved in this are triggers, um, looking at cameras, lights, how they interact when you're looking at it, and then even camera for feedback for the players. Going to go a little bit more detail, but that's kind of some of the high level keywords of what's built into this. Go ahead and hit play, and then we'll talk a little bit about what it is. Ba-dum, 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 ba-bum, ba-bum.
Save yourself.
So cool. Just want to talk a little bit about what that is. We'll turn off the game here. Um, I made it dark just because the theme of it was to be an alleyway. It's nighttime. You're coming through, and just something randomly, spooky happens after completing this puzzle. These three lights right here are all set up to move this guy. Be labeled as blueprints for look at lights. What's that mean? So let's look at the trigger here. We're going to talk about that. So at the beginning of the play, we're going to be checking every tick if the player is overlapping the actor here. So upon the overlap, we're going to check for the tick, and end overlap, we're going to take the tick off. We're going to then check if we're looking at the object. So we set up a macro, which we'll talk about. The view angle, which is, just think about like 30, 60, 90, 180 degrees. It takes into account of how you're looking at it, if it's going to recognize it or not. So the tick will start. The object to activate is the interactable mesh that we have created for our light. So we created a blueprint for this, and we set it under static actor mesh. So that basically you're able to create a lot of different static actor meshes for that to be set up. We then created a blueprint here that allows us to hook these things up, see if we are looking at it and if we're not looking at it. So this part acts as like a branch that we've created. And then we're going to see, is it looking at actor, setting it yes or no. If yes, then we're going to delay the look at duration. We've set to be at least 2.2 seconds looking at it. And if it is looking at that, then we're going to branch um, to do just once the actors start interact, and so it'll activate what it is. If not, it doesn't do it. So here you can set the color to be whatever you want it to be. You don't need to worry about setting physics or anything like that. This is the same across all the different lights, since it is under the child of static actor mesher. Static actor mesh component. Wow. I created these three different boxes right here, named them accordingly to the puzzle that we got going on. I haven't done some of the organizing yet, so forgive me for that. But you have the three different triggers then as well. So we can grab these guys. BP, 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 BP. BPBP. Blueprints. And then what cylinder? Oh, it's talking about like all those guys. So some of this is part of the template on the normal one. So that's why it's going to be showing different actors there of the playground, which makes sense. These are the pressure plates here. And these are going to be the, we'll call this the garden. Section 2. These are also set as group actors, so these are inside the, we want these inside the pressure plates. Oh, it's already assigned. That's weird that it's not part of the group. I wonder why. And this is going to be part of Garden 1. Same with these guys. I probably should just combine this to be one actor mesh. But I just grabbed, the wall was really small, so I just grabbed a lot of the different parts there. Cool. So just a little bit of housekeeping there, make things easier. There we go. All right, so just add a little foliage, some assets. They're very thin, so just on this one side I added then the collision to that here. With these boxes though, the puzzle pink, we set it up by the trigger here. We'll open up this guy. You have it checking to if it's overlapping, you're going to branch for true and false. And then upon the overlapping, it's going to check once if it is there for success, and if so, play a sound only one time. Otherwise, if it isn't, then nothing's going to happen. So when that happens, nothing happens here because this isn't a blueprint. But then how does it know it's the right guy? You check for right here, since it's a static, actor component. I'm probably saying that wrong. Static mesh actor. You're able to find specifically which one you're looking at, which is puzzle pink in this case. So when this gets put there, it makes the sound. And then we have it once this one, and this one are in place. We have a puzzle manager that's created where it's going to begin with making sure it's set on the view player. You get the player, set the view, and set it as a player view. And then upon the tick again, you have an array, so it's able to grab multiple puzzle pieces, and the macro where it's going to check these puzzle pieces. So you have it basically like the text here. You have it checking the input. It's assigning a local Boolean variable that checks for a loop systematically through 0 through however many you have. And if it's false, it's going to loop and deassign or unassign the value from being true, because we're assuming that it's true in this section, and we're going to break that loop so it doesn't keep doing it and checking, because we know, hey, it's not working. Otherwise, it's going to keep checking with this loop without breaking that the target is a success. Or not checking here, but yeah, because that's checking that part. But it's going to assume that the target's accessed, and we're going to get the output through the local variable, boom, this guy here. And the victory that we're calling, once that's done, is just, again, checking a loop for each one that's there. And it starts an interaction to play the puzzle solved sound. So upon victory, you're going to set the view to ortho delay, then set view player door. These parts are pretty simple. You have an input, set view, target, blend with the site delay, and the wall camera that we saw is hooked up to that, and then the set player view, where it's same thing, get the player controller and the player view itself. So the camera right there gets hooked up inside this guy. And then the victory interaction, what it's going to destroy is the wall. We can't hide it really in this case, because then you would just keep running into the wall. Yes, I did find that out. I thought it could remove it without completely destroying it. And then you have all the 3 different triggers that it has to have in order to help set up that victory interaction that it checks for. So we already ran through it, so we know what happens there. And my lovely voice acting. The one thing I'm struggling with is trying to get the particle to only show upon like the wall breaking or upon looking at, and then have the fire. But I thought, hey, you know, storytelling wise, at least the fire is appearing here, and then the actor disappears. So for the most part, you know, the coding works. I just think the particle emitter that I'm specifically using is not as effective. And I wanted to hook it up to like a static mesh person, for example, but I just don't really have the timer assets for that. So I use this as a stand-in more for the purpose of what it is. You know, you come here, you see a person on there, a little bit of a camera shake. If I had a little bit more time, the voice line triggers, and then like, you know, goes completely dark, and then the flame gets snuffed out. But yeah, had a lot of fun building this here. If you guys have any questions, you can dig a little bit deeper, you know, into like these parts of the code. I'll just show it so it's here. But feel free to ask me any questions you have.